Let's jump right into our time-shifted feature match here. We've got a Kethis combo deck on top versus a Sultai control deck here on the bottom.
Okay.
This is game one of our time-shifted feature. See a little bit of another Uro mirror match here. That card really just not escapable in any format of Magic. A dominant force essentially everywhere.
Definitely omnipresent.
Neutralize here. Interesting one. Oh, a little bit of a mishap from our Frank man here on the bottom. Putting a tapped land into play there, expecting to be able to trophy, but one of their lands here is a blue source. One of our astute Twitch chat members pointing out that argue can escape in every format. That's true. That's true. Uro is present and escaping in every format of Magic.
Yeah. Nothing gets past Twitch chat.
For people that aren't familiar with the combo deck on top, this is one I was really kind of surprised to see with the Teferi removal from our event here today. It is a combo deck that revolves around self-milling with the card Diligent Excavator here, along with Kethis of the Hidden Hand, allowing you to recycle things from your graveyard. This is a deck that I thought was very reasonable in some of the earlier stages of Historic as a format, but it's one that fell off pretty hard, in my opinion, when Scavenging Ooze especially was introduced. Like, not only have other parts of the format become more optimized, but there's more main deckable graveyard hate that other people are playing now.
Yeah, definitely. It was, again, like you mentioned, it was a combo deck that I was kind of high on when the format first started. Scavenging Ooze came out, and then it kind of lost some of its popularity. It's just hard because the Bant decks, like, they're control decks, and then they get to board into 4 Ooze, so your deck is a lot worse against that.
Yep. Now, one of the appealing things about the Kethis deck is it is not all in on comboing here, so especially against an interactive deck like Frankman is playing here, we'll generally see the Kethis combo decks be a little bit more of a scrappy mid-range style deck, and Diligent Excavator playing really nicely with Uro with this game plan because your self-mill is not only combo enabling, but also helps you have food to escape your Uro consistently.
Yeah, definitely a nice synergy with those two cards. We've seen Uro like synergize with a bunch of cards, obviously, in these formats, but this one's definitely heavy hitter.
Yep, and we talk about, so Jumpstart is a set that's legal today for the first time, but not all of Jumpstart came to Arena, and one of the cards they notably decided not to bring to Arena was Thought Scour, and I think Uro power level and prevalence in Historic is a big part of what made them say, okay, Thought Scour is not going to be okay here.
There's no way. As someone who loves Thought Scour and like with Young Pyromancer entering the format, there's no way I want that legal altogether.
Yeah, it's also potentially Thought Scour could have been potentially too pushed with Arclight Phoenix, although perhaps that could have been a good thing because Arclight Phoenix isn't really a presence in this format currently.
Yeah, might open back up.
For people at home, I see some folks talking about deck lists in this tournament. If you're watching this on YouTube in the future, the deck lists are linked below the video. If you're watching it live now, everything is up on MTG Melee, all 104 deck lists of our competitors here today. If you're picking through those lists and you find any particularly sweet lists, feel free to let us know and we can try and get them on camera as long as they're still in contention in our double elimination tournament.
Oh, what turn this is in? No idea. Lots of options here for right on the bottom. Gonna lead off on Uro. Probably a good place to start as always.
Yeah, it's tough to track what the turn counters are a lot of the time in Magic these days because it used to be that you could estimate based on the number of lands in play, but like in a growth spiral Uro world in which we live, all bets are off with regard to that.
Gosh, just gonna turn on Uro immediately.
Yep, and we can see, unfortunately, we cannot see the graveyard for our Kethis player here, but If they get close to getting some mocks in there, we could see this Laziv copy a Kethis and then end up comboing.
I've actually been trying to pay attention. I don't think there's actually any mocks in there right now. There's one chromatic sphere. That's it. There's no mocks in there.
Okay. Laziv is also good not only at copying Kethis if we're ready to combo, but Laziv can notably copy an Uro. And one of the kind of key features with Laziv is that he retains his name when Laziv copies something. So this could actually let you have 2 Uros in play, attacking, gaining life, and drawing cards simultaneously.
All right, well, there's 2 mocks now. So next turn, are you going to go for it? Search for a scan to find some Maelstrom Pulse. It's not terrible. The damage may be done here, though.
Yeah, I think I would be surprised if we don't see, and again, kind of that, I talked about that fair aspect of the Kethis combo deck being critical in this interactive matchup, and we see here that line I just talked about where we copy this Uro, okay, we're attacking for 12, we're gaining a bunch of life, so our Sultai player has been able to check the combo aspect of the Kethis deck, but they're just losing to this fair Uro beatdown plan.
Good pair of draws there. Actually done here.
Are there any sweepers in our Sultai deck on the bottom?
I think this game's actually over. I could be wrong, but I think we're done.
Let me pull up Frank's deck list here. We've got some Ritual Assoot. Oh, are we comboing?
Yeah, I think they're going to combo off here. I think there's 3 Ambers in the bin.
Okay, yeah, that's probably deterministic. Yeah, there are Ritual of Soots in the Sultai deck, but we can see we thought there was maybe going to be a fair happening here, but that no longer looks to be the case.
Yeah, so it was close, and then the Uro drew a Diligent Excavator and Kethis for the turn. So,
yep. And we can see here how the Kethis deck implements its combo, seeing both plans from this archetype on display here. Diligent Excavator along with Emery self-milling our Kethis player, and then the Mox is generating mana while they do that, and then eventually we see that Jace, Wielder of Mysteries in the Graveyard Chem play zone that'll get cast and then win the game with that trigger.
Yep. Probably pretty close to it here, actually. I bet they're about 40 cards deep or so, maybe a little more. There's so much. Oh, they can actually just kill Oath of Kethis too. Yep, looks like they're gonna go for the Oath of Kaya line.
Yep. And Oathakaya here is a little bit quicker in terms of clicks. I actually kind of expect Oathakaya to be a card we see get boarded out post-board in this matchup, just because they're not. Oathakaya is usually a card you keep when you're playing against aggressive matchups. You usually will be looking to win with Jace in these control matchups.
Yep.
We see some Ashiok Dream Renders very quickly coming in for our Sultai player here. Good graveyard hate card there. Interesting to note that there are 0 copies of Scavenging Ooze in the 75 for a Sultai player.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting omission. They have more like targeted removal and like with Heartless X and trophies and things like that. So.
We see a couple of Ashiok Nightmare Weaver kind of coming in on the top end here for the Kethis player. Another bit of innovation and change, probably because we've removed Teferi Time Raveler from this tournament format today. Gives you a little bit more. When you remove really overbearing cards like that, you see a little bit more diversity in cards that people play because you don't have a card that does actual everything.
Their deck looks good post-board. Definitely,
yeah, having played the Kethis deck a good bit, I think it does really struggle with the aggressive decks that exist in Historic right now, but I think its matchup against things like this control deck that they're currently playing against are very good for it, so I would expect the Kethis deck to be favored in this matchup overall. Yep, a couple of people in chat noting we can pull up Chromatic Sphere here. Is a card that's now historic legal, that's also a historic spell for Diligent Excavator, and also really helps smooth out the mana a little bit. Something Kethis has struggled with in the past is the fact that its 4-color mana base is often inconsistent. So this card provides pretty low cost fixing in that respect. I see some folks talking about the Chromatic Sphere exploit. Arena is a esports ready piece of software naturally, so there is a bug with this card currently that you can abuse where you can make mana with it, see what card's on top of your deck, and then if you don't want to draw that card, undo, hit Z, and it'll put the card back and undo the mana that you've made. So if we see anybody abusing that bug in this tournament, they will be removed. Anybody caught abusing that will be removed from the event.
And I'll ban you from chat. All right. Here we go. All right, a really nice hand for the Kethis deck.
Yeah, pretty much everything you want on the Kethis side of the table except for a white source here. And even then, they've got plenty of spells that are castable even if they don't hit the white source right off the bat. Decent draw on the Sultai player side, too, though. We've got that sideboard Ashiok that can be a very powerful piece of hate.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Both players can be able to do their thing here. Okay.
So Uro coming off for our Kethis player here as well. Again, that Diligent Excavator, in addition to enabling the combo, also enabling Uro having plenty of food in the bin. Although worth noting that in addition to missing white, our Kethis player is also missing second green for escaping Uro as well.
Yeah, they missed the white and actually put a Hallowed Fountain into the bin.
Yep, we saw them mill 2 white sources there as well as a green source.
Yep. It's not so bad when you have like Mox Amber, but I mean, you got to have a way to make the white mana. And
interesting decision here on our Sultai player's part. So we see them electing to mill the Kethis player when they could be milling themselves to enable their own Uro. How do we feel about that?
You know, I kind of like it. You mentioned they're missing the white source. I kind of like being aggressive and trying to strip them of some things, but I could go either way on it.
And we see Kelby kind of cheeky here from the Kethis side of the board. Our Diligent Excavator milled the Sultai player this time because they know that their graveyard's just going away, so there's no point in filling it up.
Right.
Now, I'm kind of expecting them to target themselves this time. Yep, because now they can cast Uro this turn. Love it.
Yep. Nice. Okay. Yeah, again, I mean, Uro's just going to come down, and the Kethis player is going to need a little bit of help here.
Yep. Yeah, we see the Ashiok really doing just what you wanted to do in this matchup, which is cut off one of the best resources that the Kethis player has, and the Sultai player has their stuff rolling. Now, we have a Tamiyo on the top side of the table that could maybe dig them into something useful. Now, do you recall, was there like Assassin's Trophy or anything like that boarded in on the top that could help get out of this board state? I know they boarded in Ashiok, or they boarded in 5-mana Ashiok.
Yeah, I don't remember if there was.
Let's take a peek here at Snap Keep's list. There's some Noxious Grasps.
Yep.
Yeah, it actually looks like Ashiok Nightmare Muse is one of their only things to really take things off the table. They have Othakaya that could theoretically kill the Ashiok, but a lot of their removal is Noxious Grasp and Urza's Ruinous Blast, which neither of which I guess Noxious Grasp deals with Uro, but it doesn't deal with Ashiok.
Yeah, not really where you want to be though. So.
Yep. All right, we see Uro getting to beat down here. A little bit land light on Frankman's side of the table here, but active Uro going definitely puts them in the lead. I assume we'll see Frank's Ashiok tick down again here, exiling Snap Keep's Uro.
Yeah, they have a neutral neutralize to kind of protect himself here too.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather hold neutralize than jam the Narset here. With the Uro beating down, you're definitely ahead, so you want to just like try and stay ahead if possible.
I'm wondering how many white sources are still left in Snapkeep's deck.
Yeah. I mean, Mox Amber really reminding us that why it's one of the worst Moxes ever printed, right? Like, it's not like Mox Opal or Mox Diamond that makes mana of any color. Mox Amber explicitly only makes mana that matches legendaries you control, so you don't have a white thing to start it can't fix for you.
Right. Jace isn't bad. I mean, you can go pick it back up with Tamio.
Okay, yep. And we see that Jace coming down. As you just mentioned here. So having the Jace Wield of Mystery in hand makes it so, getting milleds a lot less scary, assuming you can beat, a neutralize potentially out of the opponent.
Right.
So like if you're on Frank's side of the table, your neutralize kind of has like a goal at this point now, right?
Yeah, that was actually really big.
Wow, we flipped over an Uro. Yeah, that's huge.
You get to turn the Lazav into wow.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Kind of surprised. Does Snapkeep not have enough cards in the bin to escape Uro?
Only 5 total, which was including
5 total.
Uro.
Rough. Yep.
They get to put this Ashiok to bed too.
Okay.
I actually think Kethis is actually in pretty decent shape, all things considered now.
Cycling the neutralize is aggressive here.
Yeah. I don't love it, but
if you're on Frank's side of the table, you were kind of hoping to hit a land there, so that way you could Garrick kill their Uro and then attack down the Tamio. So you're hoping this Narset finds a removal spell.
Exactly.
All right, there's Assassin's Trophy. So we get to clear the Lazav and we get to clear the Tamio, but this does give a window for Jace to resolve.
Yep. This Jace is going to be pretty important, honestly.
Yep. There's a timely white source. And by timely, I mean better late than never. So Tashar coming down here. Let's get that one up for folks. Really powerful piece of card advantage in these grindier matchups when you're playing the Kethis deck. Let you start bringing back creatures here.
Yeah, Tashar is one of those like unassuming cards. Like this card sucks, and then you see it with this combo, and you're like, okay, this card's great.
Yep. And you can see here, even just this, right? Like they have Uro, or Snapkeep has Uro in the bin, so now every Legend Snapkeep cast basically has Game 3 Life Draw card tacked onto it.
Yeah, I think the game's actually over here. Do they have?
We're short mana to cast Jace, right? Oh, Narset's in play. So Narset being a prison element here, making this a lot worse than otherwise could be.
So they can kill it with. Oh, they don't have another. Okay. Yeah, they can kill Narset with.
Yep. So Mox Opal's happening here, which will let them Oathakaya to kill Narset. Narset denying these card draws has been huge, though.
It's definitely annoying for the Kethis side. They get to put this down.
So some people in chat commenting that the Kethis player has the combo. Remember, the Kethis combo is not infinite. It's just generally sufficiently large enough finite, which means that you need a critical mass of legendary things in your bin for it to actually work. And the way Snapkeep's Graveyard has been hammered by Ashioks this game, they definitely don't have the critical mass they need to combo this turn.
Yeah, I actually wonder how much they have. I mean, the Mox Amber plus Fibblethip's going to be really big, though.
Yeah, we could see some good draws here. We could see Jace perhaps get there. It's going to be really close, though.
They hit another Mox Amber. That's pretty big. They can actually Jace this turn now.
This Fibblethip, draws 2 cards. It brings this Uro back again. Tashar missed like 4 draws while Narset was in play and still just like going ham, drawing more cards after it.
I just don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to be able to combo them off here. And that's really big. Actually, see a couple more artifacts into the bin. There's a There's an Emery in the bin hanging out as well.
Yep.
Like several Emerys actually in the bin now too. Just one, but it's a one coster now.
Okay, we exiled Uro for 2 Mox.
Yep, this is great.
The Kethis player has emoted good game here, so I wonder if they think they have enough mana to get to this Jace or not.
They definitely do. They have more Mox Ambers and they have plenty of things, plenty of legendaries in the bin.
Okay, yep, and there's the Jace with the empty deck, and really powerful showing for the Kethis deck there on the back of Tashar.
It's wild, man.
Yeah, it was not. I felt like the Sultai player was behind there, but I also wasn't expecting the combo to happen that turn, right?
Yeah, yeah. With a what you call it on the Narset on the table, it seemed like it was going to be pretty difficult, but yeah, they just went
Yeah.
off.
The Othakaya happened, and then the first 4 draws that they missed weren't a big deal because they had another 4 in the bank. The Uro plus Tashar interaction, especially, looking really strong there.
That was nuts. It was very